we've been looking at sort of gold standard, silver standard. We looked at that yesterday, and the gold standard's always love, the silver standard's always truth. And how, when we're finding this hard time feeling, what does love actually look like? We need to go back to truth, because truth will always point us to what the loving thing to do is. And today I want to talk about this part, the simple truth, which is that we must serve. And that's so critically important. I mean, from a Christian U Church perspective, service is what kind of holds everything together. We have love, we have wisdom, we have useful service. That's where the two, think of it like a triangle or two hands or two wings. That's what they give flight to us. This idea of use and useful service. And then I want to come at it sort of what it gets us away from, and then what it gets us to. Well, what it gets us away from is this self-esteem trap. We live in an era where so much is about self-esteem, wanting more self-esteem, wanting to feel better about ourselves, etc. And that is okay. Clearly, we don't want people feeling badly about themselves, but it creates this trap where that almost becomes the highest moral virtue. The highest moral calling is to feel good about yourself. And just imagine, friends, you're on a cross-country flight and somebody sits down beside you, and what they want to talk about is this, that they want more self-esteem, and that's their whole orientation, is more self-esteem. And how do they get it? I don't want to be traveling for 6 hours beside somebody like that. It would be tiresome. I mean, what would they talk about? Would they be interested at all in a bigger conversation? Probably not. And so that's where it's a trap. It's a trap to get into, because even once we have self-esteem, so what? Does that really equate to happiness? Does that really equate to a life of meaning? And the research is out on that. That there's not a correlation between the two. And so I think that's an important part to think about. So we want to get out of that self-esteem trap. And then what do we want to move towards? We want to move towards a service model, which is really a model filled with a lot of joy and a lot of excitement, a lot of inspiration, wondering how can we serve in these different environments? And it's a beautiful thing. And it's not always big and grandiose. My wife and I were talking about this. I love serving in places like St. Francis Inn. She loves serving at our local hospital and their special fair called the June Fate Community Fair. Two very different approaches to service, but both are sort of aligned to who we are as people. And that's beautiful. And, you support your partner in what they feel really called to, but that's you're both moving together. So the service part here, friends, is what we want to do is we want to, as we're thinking about it, and this is rephrasing Adam Grant's famous trying of it. And I think it's worthwhile to go over this again, because I think it's so powerful. Is he said, we always have the choice in the service mode of thinking fix, help, or serve. And so much of life we can think is about fixing. It's about, how do I fix this other person? And as with all these things, are there those rare occasions where, yep, that's really important to come from that mentality? Absolutely. A doctor wants to come from a fixed mentality. Great, it's fixed. But if that's our primary orientation, how do we fix other people? We're not going to find the real heart of service. And one that's kind of a middle ground, kind of a little bit warm, a little bit cold, kind of in the middle, depends how we hold it, is the help. So folks help serve. Help is kind of this middle ground. And Anne Lamott famously said, her desire to help was always just the sunny side of control. Let me help meant let me control the situation. And that is really difficult to sort of back away from it and just think, okay, so how can I really help as this is going on? And then the last one is serve. And serve is a beautiful place, because serve has an openness to it. Serve has really soft edges, and it's really looking to just see the world right in front of you, like right there, right in front of you, and how can you step forward, lean in that particular place. I think about this summer we traveled with friends over to England, got a chance to preach over there. It's a wonderful summer vacation. And in England, everything's by trains, and so we're trying to get from one train station to another, and then this, that, and the other thing. And this person who was there, this police officer saw we were a little bit lost, we'd asked a question and then we moved on, and they actually came and sort of found us, chased us down. Chased is too strong a word, but you know what I mean. Came and found us. We were like 20 yards on, and said, "Oh, by the way, remember blah 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 blah," and gave us other directions that were really really helpful. That's the service mentality. It's just looking at your normal life and like, how do you serve here? How do you I'm using the word help here in a slightly different sense than fix, help, serve, but how can I really help a person here? Looking at what they need in that moment, and what we needed in that moment was help to get across to this other thing. And that was great. That was a great form of service. It left us all warm and fuzzy. And it was just like a 2-minute interaction. The beautiful part of that is that all of us have those opportunities. We don't just have them once or twice, we have them consistently throughout our day. These little things where we can serve and start to make a difference. So that, my friends, is my hope, is that you really do find those places where you can serve, and you really look at them closely, and you just have sort of an openness to it. Service should not feel like drudgery. It should feel like something where you're coming alive. The glory of God is the person fully alive, as Irenaeus famously said. And I think that's really, really true. And the beautiful part of it is that a lot of service, it's just normal. Many have heard this story, but I just love it. I was reading a book, and it was from the 1940s. It was the 100 greatest sermons ever preached, and I was reading the one, and it was by the founder of the Unitarian Universalist movement, the UUs, as they are called in my line of work. And he was mentioning, to a Swedenborgian new church pastor, and he was mentioning how Swedenborgian's new church people, how they believed that even their jobs were holy. And I love that idea, right? Like, even the mundaneness of a job, if you have a job that you consider mundane, even there you can find these little places to serve. I mean, this is a police officer guiding traffic, and they found a little place to serve, deeply appreciated by us. It's the same with all of our lives. There's countless little opportunities like that. So that's the thought, dear friends, is, as you go into today, think about service. Remember again that's part of the silver standard. If we're just kind of lost track of how to be loving, maybe switch the question up to, how can I serve here? Real simple. And God will give you probably a dozen opportunities today to do just that. So with that, dear friends, what we're going to do now is, we're going to come in on a soft landing. We're going to do a little meditation, a little prayer, a little blessing, and then we'll say hi to friends on Facebook. So with that, let's get a little breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, friends, let's take a quick little poke here and see if we can see some folks on Facebook. Let us see here. Oh, there we go. Linda, good morning to you. And Sherry, good morning to you, my friend. And Frank, good morning to you, buddy. I feel like we're going down the eastern seaboard there, which is kind of fun. All right, let's flip over to here. All right, come on, Nelly. Come on, Nelly. Come on, Nelly. Come on, All right. Marcus, good morning to you, buddy. Good to hear you. That was a fun little exchange yesterday. Uh, Chignone, I want to be of help and serve the Lord for the common good, so help me God. And that's it, right? Like it's that common humanity, common good. We talked about that on Sunday. So uh, and then, Jenny, thank you for this beautiful message. You're most welcome. Gene, good morning. Expecting rain for the next 7 days. Yeah, Gene, you can tell by the background. I'm just a couple of miles from you down here. Um, Sherry, good morning. Have a great day. Same to you, my friend. All right, dear friends. Well, wishing you all the very best. God bless you, and we will see you again tomorrow. Like our content? It's funded by viewers like you. Please consider becoming a sustaining